Okay? We are alive. I'm talking about the science of aura. Do you get it? What is aura? I've been seeing this thing pop up on social media, like aura, right? It's like kind of being mean, like you like on a obviously pushed door in public, and what you lose aura, or when the teacher asks I need some strong boys to pick up the table, and she picks on you first, or like anything that raises some sort of status, I guess. And it's all related to how people perceive you, right? I was thinking about the status concept, this aura, right? So I was thinking about this idea of aura, and it made me think. Like this is directly related to what I'm trying to teach. This is directly related to what I'm trying to teach and preach, right? This is the modern understanding of what confidence can give you, what it can afford you if you can. Ah, shit. This is negative aura. I tried to open a can and it didn't open properly. Now I use my thumb. Nothing like some ice cold electrolytes, right? In the hot. This is a negative stream aura to be disconnecting. It is negative stream to be disconnecting. Do you get it? Right? And I was wondering this because it goes with my thesis on business, or economy, sales, all of that stuff in a post AI world, right? Things are changing, right? And business used to change, the world used to change a lot slower, because the kind of norms, the kind of things that you did were kind of dependent on technology and what was available to the general public, right? So bathing, right? Bathing, having, smelling nice, right? In some parts of the world, that, but in the Western world at least, or in like more developed countries, you have this idea of like no one, like at least most people don't smell, right? Or you smell like deodorant or like a nice perfume. And then if you have like more money, you're able to afford like more expensive scents that have a very unique and more pleasant scent, smell. And that's like, you know, sometimes you're in the presence of someone and like they smell different to everyone else. And you're like, wow, okay, that guy smells nice. And it's not like a conscious thing, or like, that person smells nice, you know? And if someone just smells like BO, it's an immediate, like, you're put off by it, right? And BO is something that kind of like, BO is something that, like, it's not, like, it's understandable if it's like 1 day of like sweat, but then if you have like 2 days or 3 days of sweat, like the bacteria that forms, that causes like a further decay and like a much more awful smell, that's like super like, why doesn't this person shower, right? And like the sweat that comes from day one, even that's like, oh boy, this guy's had a rough day. And if it's like second day, third day smell, and you know what that smells like it's like really bad. Like you might like feel like, eh, right? And it's not, it's conscious, right? It's not something that's conscious. And it just depends on your environment, right? So like this idea of confidence, attractive personality, or these things, right? The words keep changing as time progresses, but it's kind of like a feeling, like when you feel positively about someone's vibes in respect to the environment around you, right? Like if you go to like somewhere in the third world, where it's really difficult to shower, like that might come from like 2-week-old sweat or 3-week-old sweat, right? The difference in, like, you might have had a shower yesterday, and someone might think, oh, you can afford showers daily, you know? You showered today and yesterday. And I think the thing that's interesting about that, right? Like, you might like have things going bad, but simply because you have a good vibe, you could overcome that, right? Right? Like Speed, right? I show Speed. Like there's this like constant meme of like, he stinks, like he doesn't shower or something like that. But he's like one of the most famous people in the world right now. So how does that work? Right? It must mean that there is types of aura that are more valuable than others. And I'm using the word aura simply because it's a good way to describe that feeling. But, you know, whatever word works best, like confidence, status, whatever you think works best. And it's like, okay, where does that come from, right? Speed stinks, but he doesn't care, right? And it's almost like he does it because he stinks now. I'm gonna move a little bit because the sun's like coming right on top of me, so the shade is moving because earlier it was like right on top of me. And there's ants here now. I'm gonna get ants in my face. right? And so you could have very little, but could you, like, I guess the question is, could you have aura, like, let's say, who has aura? Like, let's say Elon Musk walks into a room, right? Let's say Elon Musk or any other billionaire, Mark Zuckerberg. You know, you watch him on a screen, you watch him on a screen and in a room with you in it, like, you'd immediately feel like, oh, the time valuable. This person's time is valuable, and you immediately place yourself below them, psychologically speaking. Right? And that comes from, you know, money and, you know, power. He's the founder and owner of one of the biggest tech companies in the world. Shareholder? I don't know. And that's what gives him that, you know, difference in perspective, right? You look up, he looks down. That's how that works. And you have to wonder where that comes from, right? Where does that come from? And my understanding of that is a lack of anxiety, but perhaps not a lack of anxiety, but an ability to overcome things, right? That's what you're seeing. That's what you're sensing. An ability to overcome things, a level of changing my spot again because of the shade, a level of readiness, a level of adversity, or adversity overcome, right? Like, you think about, like, the most interesting, like, stories out there, like, sometimes, like, what's that movie, book as well, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Like, that kid is badass, right? He during famine, he was able to use his mental prowess, you know, his family not being able to afford schooling, yet he, you know, snuck his way into the library to study on his own, figured out how to make energy using a dynamo, and was able to feed a lot of people, right? That is a formidability. Even in the toughest situations, right? Starvation, hunger, riots, theft, poverty. He's able to do that, and we respect him for it, right? Whether you like his personality or not, or their personality or not, someone who's able to overcome, think outside the box, have that self-belief, right? His father had a cycle that he needed the parts from, and it was his only mode of transport, and he would have to break it beyond repair to be able to build his turbine, right? So having that self-belief to put yourself in a position where you have a gun to your head, right? Where you have a gun to your head, and then and you thrive, you overcome. So there is an argument to be made that it is indeed the gun to your head that you overcome that creates a certain level of respect, right? That creates that aura. And anything that appears as a result of that, we also perceive as aura. That's why like that ability to overcome problems gives you a certain perspective and certain way of looking at the world, right? And any sort of behavior that is you can expedite from that process, right, is an indirect signal of I have the ability to overcome obstacles, right? If you have a lot of money, right, why do people look at you with respect? Not necessarily because you may do things to lose that respect, but the second you have money, there is an instant unspoken thing like this person has done something, and some people may look at it as a form of jealousy, or as a form of inspiration. It all depends on the person and how they feel about you, and what is their capacity for self-loathing, let's say, right? Any sort of like signaling, right? Like wearing nice clothes, or behaving a certain way around certain people, having not taking people's shit, right? Like if you're not taking people's shit, right? If someone gives you shit and you don't take it, right? And you do it with a level of like certainty, and your voice isn't shaky, and you're kind of firm, it shows to them that this person has confidently not taken shit before. Like this person doesn't take shit. And so that is a signal of I've been through something that has brought me here today, right? It is a signal of adversity overcome. And so it may not be like a direct power or finances, but simply doing something indirectly that shows that can lead to let's say something respectable, a behavior that leads to or shows a lesson learned through possibly some sort of adversity. That is respected. That is seen as, not necessarily this person is above me, but this person knows something that I don't. It implies a unique perspective, And unique perspective is valuable, especially if the problems or issues that you have a unique perspective in are prevalent in the society that you live in. If you have a unique perspective on AI, people are going to want to know because AI is the talk of the town lately, right? It's the talk of the town. Everybody wants to know about AI. Everybody did. So your opinion, if you have a unique insight on it, is going to be intriguing. People are going to want to listen, especially if you package it correctly, right? It's all about packaging. Like you could have you could not have unique insight, and if you package things correctly, you could give the aura of unique insight, right? It's like that's why a lot of these like people on social media, they talk a certain way. Like you watch the shorts, right? And it's like they're in a podcast setting and they have like a mic in front of them, and they start off mid-sentence, and they'll start off with like a hook, like and that's what I learned from this person, that's how I created this thing that's worthy of respect, because it's a signal of I know something that you don't, because I have done something that you haven't done to achieve that perspective, right? And they might even say things that are completely contradictory, right? So and that's something to watch out for, actually. Sometimes people will just be contrarians because it's like, what? It's like if common knowledge says one thing and you say the opposite and make up some sort of reasoning for it, even if, you're just making it up, immediately people are interested. Or, quite enraged. Like someone could be enraged. Right? Like you could, like that's why like sometimes on online, like contrarians just make it big because they just keep saying the opposite of what everyone else says and trying to form arguments out of it. And and people listen because like, well, what the hell does he mean? Either as like a curious thing or like an enraged thing. Like, this is so stupid. How could you think like this? You're a dumbass. Or something like, wow, I didn't think about that. Maybe there's something here. And so, whenever, like, and you'll notice this, right? Whenever you're interested in something, whenever you find your curiosity peaking, it's like indirectly related to you feeling like someone knows something that you don't. Right? It's related to that feeling. And most of attention is reacting from shock, right? And that shock can come in a lot of ways, but shock usually comes from unexpected. It's windy, so I don't know if you can hear me, but shock often comes from unexpected information. I did not expect this, and whoa, your forehead muscles contract, your eyebrows raise, your mouth puckers up like, ooh, what's this? That's the science of attention, by the way, as a biological thing. When you, it's like a thing, right? Like if you see, or if you hear a bear in the wilderness, it's like, these are the three things that happen. Your occipito frontalis muscle, so like your forehead muscle, goes up, like contracts. You start getting the lines on your forehead. Your eyebrows raise, your eyes widen, maybe even your what do you call it? Pupils constrict. No, dilate to let in more light information. And your mouth puckers up. Not sure why the mouth puckers up, but maybe it's like a streamlining thing. Like, but yeah, that was just on my mind because I saw a bunch of those memes, and I thought that was interesting because every now and then through time, the same thing just keeps getting a different name, right? It's like like the same meme just keeps getting a different format because of whoever is the current zeitgeist of the moment, right? Before it was Rage Comics, and then each Rage Comics like just evolved into like pictures of people that became popular on the internet, and their faces became like kind of like popular reactions, very relatable reactions, and that, you know, blows up. Pocari Sweat. Not an ad, but this shit is really good. That's like the thing, right? Because we accept a lot of like indirect displays of this, and it creates an emotional reaction from us when we sense that, like when we sense that adversity overcome, because we sense it in indirect ways. If someone were to just walk around talking about, oh, look at all this is all the cool shit I've done, like 24/7, like it's highly likely to like put you off, right? Because it's too abrasive. It's like a thing of like people don't like being made to feel like they haven't done enough, because most people don't do a lot with their lives, right? Like most people don't overcome adversity the same way, and you know, that's why it's reserved for the few. That's why it captures attention. Like not everyone harnessed the wind like that boy, so his story grabs attention, right? That's adversity overcome. And the level of confidence that comes, level of self-belief that comes with having done something that some would deem impossible, that self-belief and that self-confidence, that creates a way inside you, a way of looking at the world. And that perception, like when you see it, that comes out indirectly in a lot of ways. And so when you do things that are cool, a lot of the times it is signaling that, it's signaling that vibe. It's signaling that perspective. And you don't necessarily have to be someone who actually did it, but just signaling that is kind of enough to make people have a certain perspective of you. And when you portray a level of self-loathing, a level of lack of confidence, lack of self-belief, second guessing yourself, you know, being indecisive, that signals a person having not overcome a lot of things. And so that's why that's like unattractive. And you know, our attention doesn't go there, right? That's why when people are too needy, you kind of get put off. Like, has this person done so little of their life that they need me around to feel like validated, right? And it's like you want to be like, not like you want to be, but like the kind of psychological instinct inside humans, it's to, like, the natural one at least, is to be attracted to the bigger personality. That's why people worship stars, right? Celebrities, which I recommend you don't do. It's not a good thing, right? It's not a good thing. But yeah. But I guess what my main point was, the way to portray that feeling is to actually stand out, right? You have to stand out in one way or another. You have to give off that vibe. The reason I've been thinking about this is my thesis, right? If AI is coming, if AI is here and it's coming for your job, if AI is coming for your job, first of all, why is it coming for your job? Because it's cheaper, it's faster, and it's better than you, right? Simple explanation for why it's coming for your job. It can do things that you can do, so therefore, if it costs less resources to have AI, then you are therefore replaceable. And you know, we'll have that come out in the following years and whatnot. So you know, that's whatever. That's gonna happen. So AI is gonna come for your job. You are replaceable, right? And so now I'm talking to businesses. You are a business, and the reason why people will most often buy either an Apple or an Android, like a Samsung, rather than any other phone, the reason why those are like the biggest like companies is because they've done more impressive things with their technology than anyone else, right? And you know, make your arguments about who copied who, it doesn't matter. They won, right? They provided more solutions to everyday problems that a person with a phone could solve. They've done more for that than anyone else. And that gives them an aura of trust. You trust Apple to give you a legitimate product that works exactly, or if That's kind of like the line of thinking, right? Like you see, let's say, jewelry, you see the latest phone in someone's hand, and you're like, oh, this guy obviously has enough money to afford that, or someone has given him money to afford that, her money to afford that, and maybe he or someone he knows, his family, could be any one of those things, has certain access, and it doesn't even have to be them. They could be related to value, and that would make them valuable, right? That's why, like Cristiano Ronaldo's wife will become famous simply because she's Cristiano Ronaldo's wife. And the way that relates to my thesis is, to stand out, you have to be doing things that other people are not doing. You have to portray or give more value in terms of trust, in terms of vibe. You have to be able to give more of that aura than your competitor. And if AI is coming to homogenize advertising, homogenize content, everything's gonna become like this, right? Before, if you saw a video by a YouTuber in 4K, you'd be like, oh wow, this person really knows their shit. But now all the big YouTubers, even some of the medium-sized YouTubers, and some of the smaller ones that have enough money to afford it, it's like everybody's filming with really good equipment, right? So what do you do then, right? You don't stand out. You stand out when you do things that no one else is doing, right? That's why ChatGPT blew up so big, right? They were the first of its kind, at least at that level, right? You type in what you want, and it gives it to you. It could be a script, it could be lines of code, No one's ever seen that before, and boom, blows up. Valuation through the moon, through the sky, through Pluto, making it even smaller. Rest in peace, Pluto. So you see how that works. There is a constant reach for finding novelty so that it gives you the aura of something new, adversity overcome. It's like, if you can do something big with something that does not exist in the mainstream, it will immediately give you a sense of value that no one else has. And of course, then markets become sophisticated, and everyone starts, they see something that works, they see a method that works, and then they go all in on it too. Because why not? Because why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Something works, why not do it, right? And that's my whole point with this live streaming business. Like, if you're a business, you're a founder, and if you're live every day and you're making engaging content, you become an authority in your niche, right? And you get that by putting in the hours, putting in the time behind and on screen to show people that you're actually thinking about this. You're actually putting in the time, and you can't fake that kind of aura. You can't fake that level of, respect that you get once you show people how much work you've actually put into it, right? And that's what this is, right? It's a way of building a portfolio that creates that trust. And yeah, that's what that is. That's what this is, right? It's the science of respect, the science of aura, the science of adversity overcome, and how people perceive that. And if you can show yourself go from 0 to 1, people will then allow you, right? They will allow you to go to 1 plus 1. 1 plus n. They will allow you to go from 1 to 1 plus n. And that's not something that's novel. That's not a new thing. But you have to apply that and be able to look and see where you can create an emergent market. You can create a new market, right? Like with AI, it's going to be incredibly difficult to join current markets, simply because AI will become the hub for businesses, and energy usage will become the limiting factor to AI. And so therefore, the companies that can afford the biggest processors or the highest processing power will be the ones who can afford the most superior AI generated content, whatever that may be, whatever that looks like in the future. And that's a sophistication of a market that's coming, right? That makes you lose trust in AI, because you're gonna know that the best companies are using the best AIs, and you're getting subpar material if you're getting, obviously AI generated content from a company. And so that unique insight dies. That unique insight, because AI is going to be scraping the entire internet for its information. That unique insight that comes from selling content online, selling information online, or having any sort of perspective online dies, because everything becomes homogenized. And if everything becomes homogenized, nothing is novel. So novelty dies with AI if you are anywhere where if you're using AI, right? And that's not to say that you shouldn't use AI. AI is very useful. You should use AI. But advertising changes drastically, which is, my perspective on this is that you have to beat AI where AI cannot be. And that will give you status. That will give you respect. That will give you aura. And you want that. You want that. It's a good thing to have. You know what I mean? I'm gonna have so many ants on me. It's kind of crazy. I sat under the only tree in Dubai where there are ants. And there's a crazy ton of ants. I'm like seeing them move around in front of me. Holy shit, that's a lot of ants. If I just look blankly into one place, I can see them everywhere. Crazy. Alright, I'm gonna get up. Do you get how that works? If you start going live, then you put yourself in a position to build more trust than a company that, let's say, is just using AI generated content. And that is valuable, right? If you can build attention using, let's say, like shorts for organic content, using a method of reading the algorithm and figuring out the current zeitgeist. Not only does that help you figure out what kind of content works, it also helps you develop your sales argument. It helps you develop reasons for why you're like, it helps you develop unique insight, right? Because as you do content, you recognize what works. You recognize what works and you develop in your niche you develop in your niche a better way of operating, right? It's like a really easy way of testing, right? And it's a really useful way because, you know, like we're using, like we don't have amazing testing software, but Google has some of the best algorithms in the world. And if you test on that, Google will give you all the information you need about what works and what doesn't, what people want to watch, what they don't want to watch. And you don't need to spend on ads. Like if you're spending on ads, you're essentially saying, I don't care how garbage my sales argument is, just throw it into people's faces. It's a waste of money, it's a waste of time. If you have a solid sales argument, you don't need to spend on ads. And if you have a good vibe, of aura that you're projecting, then you don't need to spend on ads, right? You don't need to spend on ads. And with AI, ads are going to become more expensive because everybody's going to have access to AI. The big companies are going to get the best. Whoever pays more money will just edge out the competition. Pause. Right? And so why pay for ads? Right? Creating content, going live, testing it out, using Google's precious algorithm. It's like every time you throw out a video with a certain topic and you talk about a certain thing that's related to your niche, like the algorithm pushes it up and up depending on whether people watch less or more of it, right? And so bump into the 100 views, then the 1,000 views, and then the 50,000 views, whatever, right? The algorithm gives you small bumps and puts it in people's For You pages, and that lets you know that the content you're making is resonating with people, and that's the thing that gives you unique insight, gives you an edge over the competition. And then you make a lot of money, right? So, competitive content creation, you don't have to pay for it. All right, I'm starting to get like real sweaty, so it's quite hot. I'm gonna go to somewhere air conditioned. So it's been fun. See you later. Cool. Hope that was educational. So be good, do good things, and I'll see you later.